Where to find Leo energy and the Leo new moon in your natal chart. We'll begin by where to find Leo energy. To find Leo energy in your chart, and I will use my own natal chart cast on the screen here as an example, first look for any planets, asteroids, or important angles, ascendant, IC, descendant, or midheaven, that fall in the sign of Leo. You'll want to pay careful attention to first house Leo, 10th house Leo, as that'll be super visible in public. People will be able to see that energy. The 7th house and the 4th house, where the IC and the descendant fall, those are cadent houses that support the other houses, so they're far less visible. But the 4th house is particularly important because that shows who you are on your most private level, deep to your core, as passed down by your family. The descendant shows what we're attracted to in others for balance that is part of our own ego that we often can't see or are unwilling to see. I have several placements that fall within the sign of Leo itself. My south node, 4 degrees Leo, my Jupiter, 9 degrees Leo, and those two are in conjunction. The south node is like a moon sign. It shows past life mastery brought into this life. So once we dissolve those layers of ego, we can tap into those gifts. Jupiter and South Node together, Jupiter would expand the energy and influence. Since my Jupiter is direct, not retrograde, this is incredibly visible, especially in my 10th house of career and public reputation. It's also on the cusp of my 11th house, which is our house of friendships, groups, networks, and personal legacy. The two of those together, especially with that South Node factored in, indicates that I may have been a performer in a past life, which would make sense why I have befriended and naturally vibe with other performers and celebrities in this life. We also can see Pallas Athena, our creative and strategic intelligence, wife of Mars, Athena, 22, master number 22, degrees Leo. That puts 3 placements in Leo itself. So once you've located your placements in Leo, get ready because we'll take it a little bit deeper. Now, you'll want to navigate over to the 5th house of your natal chart. And if you're using houses, you want to make sure you have an accurate birth time. Your rising sign depends on where you were in the world when you took your very first breath, and it creates the entire overlay of your chart. So without an exact birth time, you can't rely on the house placements. So navigate over to your 5th house, which is the house naturally ruled by the sun and Leo energy. All of your 5th house placements will carry a strong Leo flavor to them. And depending on what placements are there, they will be stronger than others. Looking at my chart as an example, we can see that I have my part of fortune in the 5th house. Depending on which house system I use, my North Node in Aquarius falls pretty close to the cusp of that 5th house. So you can use traditional, you can use equal, and you can use whole sign. And when they're close to the cusp, I do this in my practice and I recommend you do the same, you'll want to interpret both houses because there will be messages for you in both. Next, I'd like for you to get even more detailed. Locate any placements that are at 5 degrees, 17 degrees, and 29 degrees of their respective signs, whether or not they are in Leo. All of those will carry Leo energy, as they are associated with Leo in degree astrology. 29 degrees is a special one because it also carries the energy of Pluto and Scorpio. Next, we have to take it even deeper. Are you ready? We need to consider all of those placements and their planetary rulers in your personal natal chart. Since the sun rules Leo energy, and consider all of your Leo placements. Check where your natal sun falls within your personal birth chart by sign, house, degree, and any important aspect to another planetary body or angle, as this will modify your Leo placements, since the sun and your natal sun would be the planetary ruler of Leo energy and all of those Leo placements. For example, because I am a Libra sun, all of those Leo placements, South Node, Jupiter, and Pallas Athena in Leo, answer to my natal sun in Libra, which answers to Libra's ruling planet, Venus. You have to follow the energy trail. Venus is in its sign of rulership in Libra, so we stop the energy trail there. That would be not only the ruling planet of these energies, but my chart ruler as a Libra rising. Do you see why that birth time is so important? This is why you have to look at the entire chart. You are so much more than pieces of it. Your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign. You have to look at the entire chart as a picture and learn to weave those stories and patterns together. Next, you'll want to look at any placements you have aspecting your natal sun, especially by conjunction. So do you see how my sun is in the 1st house, rising with my ascendant? The sun is exalted in the 1st house, making it strong, which makes up for its debilitation in Libra, thankfully. Because it's conjunct my ascendant and visible in that 1st house of my persona, it carries all the same energy as a Leo rising, even though I am technically a Libra rising. My sun is also loosely conjunct, thankfully, because if it was too close, it would be combust, and that would be a negative effect. My sun is loosely conjunct my Venus, ruling planet, and my Mercury, meaning that all of those energies are fused and therefore working together. That also brings Gemini rising into the mix with the Libra and Leo rising energies, all converging on my ascendant. If you have any trouble following what I just said or interpreting your own chart, this is why I recommend working with a professional astrologer. We have practice going through this over years. I do chart readings in the form of you can pay for it and have it emailed to you and you can read it at your own time. And I also offer hourly or 2-hour one-on-one coaching sessions if you're interested in learning how to interpret this yourself. Now, how to find where the Leo new moon is affecting you in your chart. The Leo new moon 2024 will affect 12 degrees with a standard deviation plus or minus 5 degrees of either side of the fixed signs most potently. So check first where 12 degrees Leo falls. Using my chart again as a reference, I'm an open book, and I'm using the equal house system. Since I was born in the Philadelphia area, far away from the equator, the equal house system helps adjust for any skewing. In my practice, I use both Placidius/traditional and equal house systems, and sometimes whole sign. Whole sign is more for simplicity, so I use that one the least. If we look at my natal chart, we can see that 12 degrees Leo is the exact border of my 10th and 11th houses, the houses of career and public reputation and personal legacy. Within 5 degrees, we can find my natal Jupiter, which is conjunct my south node, so those two are fused together. That south node of past life karmic fate and destiny, and this life talents. Jupiter expands the energy and influence of wherever it's placed, so this is part of where I get that big Leo energy. That, and I would say the sun in the first house, conjunct my ascendant. Curly hair and all. Jupiter conjunct the south node expands this even further, especially in that 10th house. When I was a little girl, prior to being bullied out of it, I would sit right behind my bus driver in the first seat, and I would sing to her to and from school every day. If there's any wonder why I love Leo energy, it's those two placements right there, especially because Jupiter is a placement where you look to find your husband or wife in a natal chart. All of my long-term partners have been either Leo or Sagittarius, except for this current partner, who is day 1, 0 degrees Virgo, with dominant Leo and Sagittarius energy. He has Mars in Leo, a Leo stellium, and his moon in Sagittarius. You see? It's not always about the sun sign. The Leo in me sees and loves the Leo in each and every one of you. And you all have Leo energy somewhere. It's just a matter of how we find it and work with it. If we look directly opposite 12 degrees Leo, we'll find 12 degrees Aquarius, which for my natal chart is the exact cusp of my 4th and 5th houses, where I have my north node of this life, karmic fate and destiny, and my part of fortune. The 4th house, ruled by the IC, is our deepest, most private energy as passed down by our families, which for me is very heavy Capricorn. While the 5th house is our house of self-expression, passion, our children, romance, and creativity. Should I decide to reproduce, those children will be born during the Pluto in Aquarius generation, 2024 to 2044, with Pluto intensifying the energy and influence of Aquarius. They would have Pluto in Aquarius in their future hypothetical natal charts. Do you see? We'll also want to check 12 degrees of both Taurus and Scorpio, which would form a challenging 90-degree angle square to this Leo new moon. 12 degrees Taurus falls on the cusps of my 7th and 8th houses of long-term partnerships and shared money or resources, where I have my Sedna and my Vertex, while 12 degrees Scorpio falls on the cusp of my 1st and 2nd houses, the 1st house of persona and the 2nd house of self-made money and resources. This would be aspecting by square my natal Pluto, 16 degrees Scorpio. So everyone who's a millennial, especially around my age and a little younger, will be heavily aspected by this Leo new moon. Pluto in Scorpio rules the millennials. Having Scorpio on the cusp of my 1st and 2nd house is also why I have darker features than my siblings. I mentioned in my previous series that I have strong Norwegian ancestry, among many other things, but my brothers look far more Scandinavian than I do. Blonde hair, blue eyes. My mother expected me to come out similarly, and I came out with striking dark eyes and dark curly hair, much to her surprise. North Node in Aquarius. She has been calling me her gypsy child ever since. And little did she know that I would grow up to become a professional astrologer and tarot card reader. I hope you enjoyed my little Gemini anecdotal stories and that they helped illustrate some of the examples for you. But that's enough about me. Drop it in the comments section below. Where does 12 degrees Leo fall in your chart? Do you have any personal placements or aspects there, especially within a 5-degree standard deviation or orb? What about 12 degrees Aquarius, which would be aspected by challenging opposition? Confrontation leading to evolution. Where does 12 degrees Aquarius fall in your chart, plus or minus 5 degrees? And do you have any aspects or important angles there? Now do the same for Taurus and Scorpio. Those 90-degree angles will be felt much more internally, so it might be more subtle. Once you've identified what's aspected by this new moon, now you'll want to add an additional layer of meaning. What do those planets and placements represent archetypally? What about the aspects? If it's a conjunction, it'll mean something completely different than an opposition or a square. If you need any help, I will be taking new one-to-one astrology, tarot, etc. clients for 2 more weeks, but I will be taking a break from new clients effective August 17th. And this is to focus on my existing client basis, producing videos on a consistent basis, and on a certification program for my new full-time endeavor. The only way to reach out to me is through the comments section and by email. If you email me, I will send you a list of my pricing for you to choose from. This is the best way that I can get back to everyone in 48 hours. Thank you for watching. If you're still with me, you're a real one. Drop your current most used emoji in the comments. If you took anything away from this video, we ask that you like, comment, share the content, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, we know that you'll enjoy the full playlist and this additional video. Thank you so much, love you, and see you soon.